What's going on? Face Value Podcast, episode 137.
Yeah, giving it to you.
Musical journey? Keeping me on my toes? Who's this?
Toner.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Talking about.
What's going on, y'all? We have a special guest today. It's my good friend, Sean McQueenie. He also goes by Fade In Out. We're here to talk about his art, talk about music, talk about him. How you doing?
We're talking about bullshit too, right?
Yeah, bullshit. A lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like we should get the normal things out of the way. Just where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Michigan. I like to tell people Detroit, but I'm not really from Detroit.
So you're from the surrounding suburbs of Detroit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just a mile north. I grew up off 8 Mile.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Saga.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Right up there.
Can we spend a little bit of time talking about how Michigan's really rad, but people always tend to leave?
Oh, yeah. Everybody who's cool from Michigan doesn't live in Michigan anymore.
But even though I don't live there anymore, I really appreciate it. I'm like, oh, Michigan's sick. And they're like, why don't you live there?
It's always home, but
Yeah.
there's no reason right now for me to invest in being there.
Yeah. When I do go home, though, I never really go home to Saginaw. I always go to Detroit.
Okay.
Because Detroit's amazing.
Yeah.
Detroit's an amazing place. I feel like now it's getting more light because of all the shit like Dan Gilbert's doing. But it's always been amazing. Mm-hmm. Even when it was down bad in that, the recession, it still was a great place to be.
I mean, you talk about the glory days of things, and everybody in Detroit just talks about, well, it used to be like this, it used to be like that, and it's like, no, these things are good now. But you're able to do more stuff now.
Do you think people in Detroit glorify the sketchiness of past Detroit? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the tail end of it being rough and tough.
Yeah.
And, don't go to Detroit.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to Tigers games. I'm going to concerts. I'm 15 years old.
Yeah, you're not gonna die.
Yeah,
it's fine.
The most fun punk shows I've seen are in a DIY venue downtown. And I'm just showing up there, taking the bus when I'm 15 years old.
Yeah.
But it's way different now. I've been gone for a little bit, so I'm not the most knowledgeable person about it. But when I show up, it's fucking fun when I get to see these cool things that are happening.
Yeah, because even though it's coming up, it still has so much of that DIY mentality. There's some of the best shows I've ever seen to this day were at the Shelter for $6.
I always hear about that place.
It's just the basement of St. Andrews Hall.
Okay, yeah, I've been to St. Andrews Hall.
So the smaller shows are down there. So all the smaller touring shit.
Yeah.
But when you go down there, when I was younger, a teenager, it did feel a little different. Then when you're an adult, I was like, oh, this is crazy. But as an adult, you just understand, you know how to move, and you're gonna be fine. Mm. But you mentioned Old Tiger Stadium, that area used to be gnarly.
Oh yeah.
And now it's totally fine over there.
Corktown is the poppin' area now.
I was just bored looking at rent and shit, and it's very comparable to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Really?
It's crazy to me.
What's over there? Just
that's where that Slows is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been
the
over
Michigan
there.
train stations over there, so people like to take pictures in front.
Yeah.
And, a lot of bars and restaurants over there. It's right by the Wayne State campus too. So the college campus is right in the next neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then it's smooth. Yeah.
So what prompted you to move from Michigan to Chicago?
People my friends being here. I just come here all the time. Just a few homies went to college out here, and I'd visit them and shit during that. But now I was I'm just bartending in Michigan. I was time to fucking make a change and do it in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's close enough where I don't have to feel I'm fucking far away. I can still see all my friends.
Yeah, no, totally relatable. That's exactly why I moved here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Texas is really close to Chicago.
It's y'all and us. We just
Dude,
invaded Chicago.
I love talking about the Texas, Chicago, Detroit connection.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
Everybody knows each other, and it's such a solid scene in the trifecta.
It's really awesome. It makes me feel at home. Seriously, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty much intertwined.
Yeah.
When you don't even really know who's from where.
Right.
It's just a big glob of people, and you're you're either from Michigan or Texas.
That's the homie. That's the homie.
It's to me, it's you're from Texas until I see you wear a Tigers hat. It's oh, okay.
You know what's crazy is I think the Tigers have the best logo in sports, the old English D.
So clean.
But why the fuck is it navy, man? Can we get a black hat? Can I get a fucking black hat?
I think that all the time. I'm yo, we just copied the Yankees. They got the navy hat, the white font.
And the thing is, navy blue as a color is trash. Just give me black.
Okay. It's not trash.
It's fake black.
Okay. We can twist that however you want, baby.
Twist it up. Twist something up there.
No, but seriously.
I love wearing Tigers hats in the city, and people are like, "Oh, are you from Michigan?" I'm like, "No, I'm just a Tigers fan in Chicago, man." I'm like, why would I be doing that?
Yeah, same with Rangers hats. Like,
who's the Tigers fan outside of Michigan?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not a sports fan in general, but I'll wear a Tigers hat. Like, I don't know one player on the Tigers, but I'll definitely wear that hat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's just a staple now. Like the baseball team fitted, the snapbacks, like it's just an easy thing to throw on, no matter where you're from. I mean, I have a Chicago hat, like a Chicago Sox hat, and like I wear that. Like I shouldn't root for the team, right?
But it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I would definitely wear hats just because I like the logo, which I guess transcends into liking streetwear and shit like that. You're really based off the graphic versus, I mean, yeah, I would wear like a White Sox hat before I ever came to Chicago because it's just dope. Black and white. That's what I'm saying. The White Sox got it right. Black and white, bro. Like, fuck this Navy shit.
I'd rather have the Navy over the bright blue Cubs, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm never wearing that.
The royal blue or whatever they do.
I think they just have actual diehard fans, so they rock with those. Those colors are bad.
Red, white, and blue. That's America, baby.
Yeah, true.
Which is also bad.
Yeah. You can't be supporting that anymore. You gotta go change teams.
But now speaking of Michigan, did you start printing in Michigan?
I went to college for screen printing for a little bit.
Where'd you go?
Wayne State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool,
my
cool.
mom worked for the university, so I got like a sweet discount. And then I just blew the entire time I was there. I didn't do anything.
Nice.
Typical art student.
Yeah,
like,
no, for
I
sure.
was like getting drunk all the time.
Yeah,
and, like then
naturally.
I dropped out of school and like was working at a bar full time. But like I just like kept up like with the interest of screen printing because like I grew up on that DIY like aesthetic. Like just knowing how to do things is like important. Like your homie's band needs something, I got you.
Yeah.
So like that continued even though I wasn't in school anymore. But school is where it like kicked off. Like I was like, okay, like this is an art form I can understand.
Fuck yeah.
So to talk a little bit more about that, so you were going to school for art? That was your major?
Yeah.
And at the school, they had a straight up like 6-color press and shit?
Yeah, they have like...
Damn.
I've never heard of that in a college setting.
So like Wayne State, there's 2 schools in Detroit, for those who don't know, that are art schools. There's CCS, Central for Creative Studies, which is like the more commercial, like you know how to like take photographs for like a company and stuff like that. Whereas Wayne State is more fine art. So I showed up and I'm thinking I'm going to make some t-shirts and stuff in this class. And they're like, oh, actually you're going to be etching this fucking piece of metal for 2 weeks before you can print. So like that was a little jarring for me, like not understanding like the art form itself. But like I also learned a lot where it was like, okay, you like this form of it, you can do whatever you want with that form. You just have to take it and like learn from other ways.
Yeah, I think once you're exposed to one form too, it opens your mind to other shit. When they put you through that process, you can apply it in hella different ways. We're like, well, I didn't think this was going to be the end result of what I was just doing, so I can like take that way other places with it. And especially screen printing, you can print anything. But way back in the day, they used to screen print skateboards before they did heat transfer because they found out it was cheaper and whatever. But yeah, all those boards used to be fucking printed.
But nowadays, if you hand print your boards, you can like mark them up.
Yeah,
I mean, not saying you have to, but you can. Like people will like recognize and like realize that that's like a extra labor, extra like effort.
Yeah, because it is. We also we've talked about this a little bit, but not in depth. And since you actually do it, it'd be cool to talk to you about it. I don't think people really understand how intricate you got to be when you're working with multicolor screen printing.
Oh yeah.
See, like, can you kind of like break that down? How it's definitely deeper than people think.
I mean, I'm no professional by any means. I'm self-taught for the most part because I only went to school for 2 years, so now mostly YouTube. But like from what I've been doing myself, like the way you think everything's gonna line up because you work with digital medium for the most part. Like when you think it's gonna line up like that, it doesn't work that way. You have to like expect like twists and turns and like okay, you have to do something a little bit different and tweak it so it lines up. And like I'm a little bit more of a loose person when I come to like printing, so like it doesn't really matter to me if like things aren't like perfectly lined up because I kind of think it looks cool. But that's like a cheating way of saying that, so I don't have to redo it. But at the same time, like I talk to my friend who like prints t-shirts like all the time, and like he's like, yo, like yeah, it takes like an hour to set up my shit, and then I can print t-shirts for an hour. And it's like it takes some time.
Yeah, that's why people get so frustrated when they're trying to make like 10 t-shirts and the person doing it or the company has a minimum. Like, why do I have to make so many? Because you don't understand how much time's getting your screen set, burning the screens. It's a whole process that people are just unfamiliar with.
And you have to go through so many t-shirts before you actually get the print right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, most of the shit now on the people that mass produce shit, it's all automated. It's not even a person like running the screen.
They just press a button.
Yeah. You can do like, there's like 16 color presses that are just all automated now.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's not even setting it up and lining it up. It's about the way you're pulling the shit down. You can ruin a shirt just because your stroke isn't consistent.
Or like
really?
the what word am I thinking of? The tension of the screen matters too. Like amount of ink that hits the material, like that, all that shit like has a factor in it. So it's almost like really industrial like style thinking. Like you got to think ahead. Like you got to know what the materials you're working with is. So like there's the commercial side to screen printing, and then there's like the fine art side where you kind of just like go with the flow. But the commercial guys, they're the ones who are doing it day in, day out, and they have the most info on it. So like I talk to dudes on Reddit, and they drop so much knowledge.
Really?
And I'm like, yo, I'm just doing it in my bedroom, but like, cool, thanks for everything.
Yeah.
And you print too. You make like prints, actual prints. What do you think the difference is between printing those and T-shirts?
I was talking with my homie about T-shirts, and I was like, T-shirts are the easiest thing to like do because people are like aware of like they gotta wear a T-shirt every day, and like you want to like cycle through, and you want to have like cool graphics. So that's like an easiest process to like get your stuff out there is to be on a T-shirt. It's just when you do prints, like how I do for the most part, like I feel like people who are into the art form love to like fill the walls with like the similar styles, like, or like their friends and helping out and like stuff like that. But like the print, you kind of like gravitate towards looking at longer, like a wall, a piece of art on the wall, rather than just someone's T-shirt. You're like, oh, that's sick, and then just move on.
Yeah, I definitely think it's very sick that you focus more on like album art and like actual prints. You know what I mean? Do you even really do T-shirts at all?
I'm doing some next week. With my
I saw that
homie.
you're doing that, and that looks sick.
Just recently, like, got into like deciding to do that. I'm not gonna make that like my thing where I'm like dropping T-shirts every week. Like, plenty of other people are doing better bootlegs than I could ever do. But I was like, yeah, let me like get into it and like do something else. Like I want to screen print on like pillowcases.
That's
and
fucking
have
tight.
like blankets. Like I looked up woven blankets. That's not like I wouldn't screen print on that, but like putting design on a woven blanket would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be very sick.
And like it doesn't need to end with just prints, but like that's the easiest way for me to work right now. And like I really like working with paper, like understanding the feel, the texture of everything, and like eventually like T-shirts will probably be a big thing. It's an easy money maker.
Yeah.
Like if you do it right, you can like make a ton of fucking money off of it.
What's the easiest paper to print on?
I mean, if you want to, you could print on like computer paper. I've done that before.
Yeah.
It just like, you want like a weight to it. Like otherwise you get like that like newsprint quality where you can kind of see the ink buckle on the paper. So like you want to think ahead and you're like, yo, if this is going to have a lot of ink on it, you want a heavier paper so it doesn't look weird. But at the same time, I like using recycled paper too, and that's just usually like really flimsy and cheap. I think it
looks cool.
It adds a quality to it.
Yeah, I think it holds more value to what you're doing too when someone's willing to purchase it and put it up in their home. Versus tons of my friends have made T-shirts that personally I'm like, yeah, this is kind of whatever, but I'll throw you $20 and just put it in my closet. Putting something on your wall in your home means you really fuck with it.
Yeah, you have to like put the nail in the wall. You have to like
exactly. You got to do a lot more effort, and then it's just displayed to you and everybody. So I think that anyone that does support your work and hangs it up, that's should be it's like a sign of like they really fuck with it.
Yeah, it's like an honor.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like a T-shirt, you could almost be like, yeah, I'll get one, and just never wear it. There's so many shirts in my closet. I'm like,
it's
I'm
nuts.
never wearing that shit.
You got to cycle them out of the wardrobe. Got too many.
Yeah, that bitch will end up in the thrift store.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. Is like, yo, I have too many T-shirts. Do I need to make more T-shirts myself? Like, the world's got too many T's.
Yeah.
Like, just let other people make it.
And I can't let go of any of them. It sucks. I'm attached.
That's where the bootleg thing becomes like kind of confusing because at the end of the day, like you just said, there's already too many items of clothing in existence, and people are like, oh, let me recreate this so everybody could have it. But really, at the end of the day, if you're like a dork, like most of us are, we all have too many T-shirts anyway. So what are you doing? I could probably wear a new T-shirt for literally half of a year, like, and just never repeat a T-shirt. And I don't even wear those. I just wear black T-shirts most of the time.
But you got to see that I like every single album Discharge ever made. Do shirt proof.
What's the trend on IG right now? What band is cool? I need that to you.
Exactly.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a fact. If you don't have the shirt, you don't like the band. You do not make that music. Like, how many times you play the album, it doesn't matter. Dude, you don't have any shirts from this band.
Where's the embroidery hat from 1994?
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
You don't really like that.
But the collections are sick, though, when people got, like, random assortment of bolt thrower stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like, crazy.
That's the shit, dude. Any old bolt thrower shit.
Yeah, I'm a sucker.
I mean, there's a reason all that shit's getting bootlegged because it was sick as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to be hard pressed to find any of that, even in the wild or anywhere. And if you do find it, it's going to be hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Which also I think is is ridiculous. To a certain point, paying over $200 for a shirt is fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
I feel like that's like kind of dying out now, though.
Yeah, that's played for sure.
Like people are like, yo, I need to just get something off of it. You can probably get like a steal on like a typo negative shirt nowadays.
Yeah. Dude, shout out to Justified Arrogance, who's
steal.
changing the game. My boy. Shout out James K.
Should have worn my swan shirt.
Exactly.
That's funny. So when you make prints, when you make art in general, what are your kind of personal parameters that you put into when you're trying to figure out how much to sell it for?
It's weird. I have been doing this for like a year and a half now, like seriously, like not just like making designs and just uploading Instagram. I'm like, yo, I'm like doing art now. Like I'm an artist. It feels weird to say. So like when it comes to like pricing stuff, I'm always like, yo, should I do more? I'm like, I want to sell it. So like I want to like not have it at a really high price and hold on to everything for years. I'm like, yo, like let me just get rid of it. But that's also the nice thing about prints is you got so many copies of the same thing that I could sell the same image for $20 each, and I'm sell 10 of them. That's cool.
Yeah.
But like that's not always the case, and you got to understand that. Like I value it more of like how much work did I put in. And I'm like, because I made a green room print, and a lot of people on Instagram like that, and I sold a bunch, and like, but that took me like an afternoon. Like I threw that together really quick and shit, and like I sold it for cheap. But like when something else like comes up where I like spent a couple days prepping and doing everything and like dyeing the paper afterwards after I print, because I've done that a few times, like that takes some time. So I'll throw a little bit extra price on it, but it still feels weird when I ask like, yo, $50 on Venmo. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come with it.
It's a weird situation too, because the consumer, they don't know nor understand the work that was put into it. Mm-hmm. So like, why is this one 20? This one's 80.
When you could get,
and you're not going to sit there and be like,
when it's on a Redbubble for $10 for a 16 by 20. And I'm like, yo, the quality of that is like your home printer. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, and it's also like, I'm not the type where I upload my stuff onto Etsy. I don't do like the mass market stuff. Most of my stuff is limited to like the people that follow me on Instagram. Yeah. Like I'm about to drop a website. So like, hopefully that like helps expand the market and I can like meet more people who want to buy my stuff online. But for right now, it's word of mouth for me, like talking to homies, like people sharing my stuff on Instagram and other people reaching out. It's really cool that way, but I don't have like that marketing mindset where I need to have a range of products available for people online. I just kind of like do my thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing is you got to always be conscious of not underselling yourself. Mm-hmm. And then once people do start to fuck with your shit, because then you don't want to build this like mass following and people are consuming it. And then all of a sudden you price jump crazy. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, now it's, and they're like, well, the product is the same. Mm-hmm. It's just like your hype is more, so it's more. Yeah. So I think at first you got to like just have the price up and maybe sell less and just get to that point.
And then that way you'll have more of a core, like kind of like audience, I guess, or fan base. And then they'll grow with you and like understand why things are getting more expensive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you see the baseline is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate was saying, which I don't know too much of which ones you've done. You also do album art for bands?
I've done a few. Like I did one for Saint Ripley, like his EP last year. Wow, I'm blanking on the name. Holy shit.
God Complex.
Yeah, God Complex. Yeah. God. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna be pissed. Watch, guaranteed.
Yo, Nate, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, shout out Rip.
Yeah, great. He helped me out by like reaching out to me first. Like that was the first project I did, and then a few other people have like helped me out. Like I did a design for your homie.
Yeah, my homie Louis Dubuque. He's an artist. He's from Texas. Well, he's from Dallas. Moved to LA, and he just does a bunch of like electropop projects. And he found Sean on my Instagram. He's like, dude, I found your friend and I got some art from him. He's fucking sick.
See, that's like, what I love.
Like, I was like, yeah, that's my dog. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
That's
sick,
like, but that's some creepy shit. Like how you just went through my followers and started clicking on shit. What were you looking for?
No, I'm sure. I think Sean popped up on his like explore feed.
Oh, Instagram does do that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay. And his shit looks like
I wish
something
that when
like
that.
Like this dude does.
They
like,
should show the engagement.
Yeah, this dude does like pop shit, but he's like a hardcore kid from Dallas. You know what I mean? So like, of course that shit's gonna like look like something he'd like. You know what I mean? Just saw that I followed him.
Yeah,
you know
like
I mean?
I like make like dark like Xerox-y stuff, like early punk style, and like he reached out to me. He's like, this project is gonna be a little bit different than what I'm like putting on my Spotify account. But like, not gonna lie, when he like messaged me first and I saw the blue check mark, I was like, whoa, all right, so, like, tab on that account.
Yeah. Are you trying to have like a niche style, or are you open to doing whatever?
I'm like kind of growing. Like when I started off doing this stuff, like in the like right before the pandemic hit, I like started picking up designing and stuff, and it was all black and white because I was just working off my home printer and I didn't have color ink, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just all black and white.
Yeah.
And like now I've gravitated towards like color and stuff like that, but it's definitely more of a tone now is my style. It's like it's not just the copy and paste anymore. It's like like it's a little bit like spooky. It's a little bit like okay, you gotta like look at it. Like I like extreme music, extreme metal, extreme punk.
Yeah.
Noise music has been a big thing in my life lately, so
Yeah.
like, I listen to that stuff and it like inspires. It's cool.
Yeah, dude. It like, especially your like earliest shit that I saw, just like reminds me of like all that like old late '80s, like early '90s DB like crush shit. You know what I mean? It's just like right there.
I mean, it's so.
But it's
cool.
a more of an artistic way, I think. You know what I mean?
It's such an easy way to like pick up how to like basic graphic design.
Yeah.
And just play with collage with stuff that you have physically. Like I'm a very physical person, so I print off a lot of stuff that I don't need to print off just because I can look at it in my hands and like play with stuff. So like I do a lot of stuff like that where it's like kind of a puzzle. Like, or I put it together finally. I'm like, all right, cool. This is cool.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So you think having tangible items and moving them around physically gets you like a better picture in your head?
Oh yeah. I'm like not trained in Photoshop at all. Like, so I'm self-taught in that, and it's confusing as hell. Like, let me be honest here. There's a lot of stuff in there that I have not even touched. But like when I like bring the stuff that I know how to do into there, it like goes super smooth. And like I'm learning stuff slowly, but for sure, like definitely hands-on is way better for me than digital.
Yeah. Also, too, there's like a beauty in that simplicity though. When you don't know all the shit, because a lot of the times when you know all that, you overproduce things, and sometimes things that are overproduced are just like exactly that, overproduced. The simplest version of something is most likely the best version.
Yeah,
like when you don't know the rules of something, it allows you to have like an outside perception that's completely original based on just the fact that like you weren't taught the walls that are built up around how you're supposed to industry standard operate a function, you know?
Yeah.
So when you self-teach or like adapt what you know in the physical world to something in the digital, I think that like it's going to translate as more organic. So like someone might go through the perfect industry standard process and like put something together in like Photoshop, but you as someone who's like adapting as you're going as a organic artist working with organic material, like your finished digital project is going to translate more organic because of that.
Like I want people to feel like they could feel it through the process and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I talk about it all the time, when you're trained a certain thing, that just means that many people are putting out the same product. Like Jimmy and I both have built, front end websites and shit. And when you go to school, they literally teach you to build the same website over and over again. But when you're doing that, you're not creating anything unique. I don't think anybody wants to be on the internet and every website they visit is just a different fucking template of the last one they were on. Like, what's the point of that even being a different thing? It might as well be the same fucking website.
100%.
The same thing with art, not to cut you off, art and graphic design. If you go to school for graphic design, they give you all these rules like Jimmy was talking about. But if every designer follows those rules, everything's going to look the same.
Oh, it'd be boring.
Yeah.
So you got to just be outside the box and do whatever feels right.
Yeah, true. You basically just answered what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it's like, and I think with photography too, when you go to school for that, they teach you it's got to be like this. Okay, cool. So every photo should just look the same.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what like took me out of like being interested in photography, because like when I was taking those classes, it was just kind of like all the same shit, and I kind of like check out quick. You know what I mean? Like, if my creativity isn't going like far enough or fast enough, then I kind of check out. You know what I mean?
I feel
that's
that.
kind of like why I did that. You know?
I used to take photos too, and like I stopped because I'm like, yo, I'm just taking the same band photo that everybody else is taking. I'm like, it's high flash, they're right there, like Mike in the crowd, cool. Like, and they can do that. I'll let them do that.
Yeah.
And like, I also wouldn't be the guy who'd be there every week at the shows because I had to fucking work. So like, there's a lot of people that had better opportunities than me because like they could be there all the time. So like now I'm like trying to like focus on like being able to take time for myself artistically, and not just like worrying about working.
True.
Like, making a change in my life.
So if a band hits you up to do album art, do you want them to come with direction, or would you rather hear the project and come with your own direction?
I like to hear the project. I don't like when they're just like, do whatever you want. I'm like, yo, like you got to give me some kind of guideline, because I could go anywhere you want and you could just not like this thing. And like that's happened before where I make like somebody's hit me up for a commission, and then when like I gave it to them. They're like, yeah, it's not really what I wanted. And I'm not insulted by that. I'm like, cool. I'm like, all right, fine by me. But like when people are like, yo, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I like from you, like when they show me stuff that I've done before, that they're like, yeah, I'm into this, that's the best way for me to start. I'm like, okay, I've got a guideline.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the pressure of someone just saying do whatever. Because that just means I can do anything I fucking want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, does that mean I can charge whatever?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, what do we mean by do?
Yeah, what's funny is that same person will be quick to give you a budget. They'll be like, $150, but do whatever you want. Yeah, I'll give you $150 worth of shit. Like,
I've had people like send me like Instagram accounts where they have like 50, 60,000 followers, and they're like major graphic designers.
Yeah.
Like, those dudes do it all the time, and they're like, this is what I want. I'm like, all right, then maybe you should hit him up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
like,
you're not gonna just bite people just for bread. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
That's a big thing on like trends and stuff, like in design world, or like, I wouldn't say printmaking, because printmaking is kind of a little niche in terms of style, but
Yeah.
with like design, everybody's in like going towards that Y2K, like early like bubble, a lot of chrome, and I'm like, it's cool when like somebody does it right, but like, yo, everybody's doing the same thing. Like, why do you want the same fucking thing?
Why does everyone have to do the same shit? That shit is so wild.
that's just like one of the corniest things about life is once people start to see something being something, they just want to do that. It's
Yeah.
like, don't you want individuality in anything?
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. It's in the same thing with like clothes. And I think things being trending and trends are really weird because I would never want to follow those on purpose. If something's cool, like you should want to do it because you just think it's cool, not because it's the in thing to do currently.
Yeah.
And especially in design, because that goes back to the same thing. Cool, now everything's just going to look the same for a little bit.
Yeah.
Tight. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's why like Times New Roman and like Helvetica were like staples in every website for the longest time. And it's like, yo, there's other fonts out there, you guys. So you can get a
Like
little
Comic
creative
New
with it.
Sans.
Bring it back.
That's a hitter. That's
Yo,
You should work with that,
I'm gonna
dude.
do it. A big 27-part project, each letter 16 by 20.
Yeah, you should.
That'd be sick.
I think that's your lane.
That's art. That's art for real.
You have to understand.
If you look up
right.
art, it's just that project.
It's that and wingdings. That's what you really got to rock with, dude.
Translation, emoji. Emoji alphabet was cool too.
Exactly.
I just scanned my phone. And then
Right.
Yo, like, did you guys see the invites to that Balenciaga show? It was so sick.
Was it just like a copy pasta?
Balenciaga got a shitload of old iPhones and they engraved the invitation and mailed them to people. So you just opened a box and it was like an old ass iPhone 7 with like the event details engraved
On the back?
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
pretty sick,
That's
actually.
cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Imagine just trying to source all those old iPhones. It's like,
That intern hated their life.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
they're hitting their friends. They'll be, you still got that phone you dropped in the toilet like 3 years ago? Nah, man.
They're just going to every like fix a screen spot in like the suburbs of every place in the U.S.
Yeah, I think that was an original idea though, which is great.
Yeah,
Coming up with
that's
something
sick. That's
that
really
no one's
cool.
done it's cool and it's hard at this point.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy is now I bet you in the next like 6 months you see people doing that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna do that too. It's like something like that. You know exactly where you got it from.
Yeah.
So why would you try to copy that or whatever?
High fashion, I feel like, has got that like, that's like a curse where they all copy each other. Where like a trend
100%.
happens and then they're like, okay, let's all make chunky sneakers.
Yeah.
Let's all do motorcycle jeans. Let's all do something else. And it's like, okay.
And then they hang on to it for fucking ever.
Yeah. Like those animal collage T-shirts that everyone does and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. I watched this other podcast and there's a designer from LA and he did this design for Market, like Chinatown Market.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And Balenciaga did like a very similar one. And he was talking about it and he's like, if anything, I feel like it's cool that they like copied it or whatever. But I'm really thinking it's very similar, but it's kind of hard to understand if Balenciaga got on your radar or like Chinatown Market's radar.
Yeah.
Because I know streetwear very much influences high fashion, of course. But it just, you never really know because I know a lot of people try to do that and air people out. Oh, they copied me. And it's like, dude, I don't know if somebody saw your page that had that on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
there's
no idea is truly original anymore.
Exactly. It's
all.
like, that's what I was talking about. I don't think they like really bit that. You know,
I don't think they saw his
everybody's
shirt.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Market does that to everybody. So, you know what I mean?
I mean, that is streetwear. If you
Yeah.
think about streetwear, it started as like flipping like OG logos and shit.
Yeah. True.
So what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, that was like the whole backbone of that market of apparel.
I mean,
What's
you see
that?
Obey do a red brick with a white font. And it's
exactly.
like, oh, where'd you get that from, bud?
Or like Supreme does a shirt with the Skittles logo. Some shit
that
like
happen?
that. Yeah, they made Skittles.
They just
How
take
do
the
you
shit too far.
how do you guys feel about
They made
the
a pack of Skittles.
how do you guys feel about the Balenciaga Bernie merch?
Man.
I just feel like those are two worlds that don't need to meet.
I thought the concept of it was so funny because it's like I like repurposing imagery. So it's like that is like a common politician like font and stuff like that. It's like, yo, it just says Balenciaga. I thought it was such a funny idea, and like people were getting really mad about it. And I was like, I'm not like a high fashion guy, so I don't live in that world, but like I'm aware of Balenciaga, so like I noticed it. I'm like, yeah, this is like funny.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like kind of a trolly funny bit, but people got really upset about it, and I was like, all right.
It's so weird to get upset.
I'm not buying a shirt, but I'll look at it.
No, I'll never buy the shirt. Nah, not for 20.
20?
Yo, go
Not
to
for
Goodwill
20.
and it's on a Hanes beefy tee.
Shout out to Haynes and Beefy Tees.
Calling your shit beefy.
I thought that too.
Whoever came up with that's a G. It's kind of a thick shirt. What's it feel like? Beefy?
Yeah, kind of beefy.
Wow, it's the first thing that came to your mind.
Just roll with it.
What were you doing last?
Those board meetings got to be fun.
Insane.
For sure. I'll be in there giving it up. The wildest idea. They'd be like, you are fired.
Hanes coming through. Always staying clutch.
They do come through, though, with the cheap shirts.
Yeah.
What's funny is, like, those Guild and Hammer shirts. We talked about this with Noel, our last guest that we had, because it was just us. Those are actually quality shirts, those Hammer ones. They're good weight. And that's, I think, what I'm looking for in a shirt is just to feel like I'm wearing a shirt. I was never super into, like, the American Apparel, really wispy, where, like, if it's windy, your nipples just clung to the shirt.
I hate a thin t-shirt. It feels like athletic wear.
I need to feel like I'm wearing a shirt.
Yeah, give me that 14-ounce cotton.
I've never heard you say nipples before, and we've been friends for
Like you remember all of our conversations.
That's true.
I know for a fact you don't remember all of our
Rolodex
conversations.
of all these jokes.
True, you're right.
I'm sure one night we talked about nipples late night.
Probably.
Late night.
So nipples. Speaking of nipples, we're going to get to the hot shit of the week. We got our fallen comrade, Saint Icky, with his new joint, 80s Baby. Go stream that on Bandcamp. It's Bandcamp Friday, even though it's going to be Monday when you hear this, but stream that shit.
Yeah, I'm so rough, I'm so exfoliated. I feel like Axel Foley, motherfuckers constantly hate. But what they say, I go delirious, I'm bad in the brains. Since I'm man in a box like Alice in Chains. You already know. I'm stuck in a wave, I'm stuck in a haze, I'm confused and I'm dazed, I'm stuck in this Mercedes, shorty be fucking me crazy, she fuck with me cause I'm creative, fuck with me cause I'm creative, her ass getting the latest, me I'm stuck in the 80s, why? Cause that's what they made me, there ain't no chance she faking, but she's still a fake bitch, all of my exes crazy, all of my exes got babies, yeah I sick shit like the rabies, I explore like a goonie. Don't like it to sue me, crash like Darby, take me back to the 80s, Jordan rocking the cradle, Devin go get the turntables, I'm connected like cable, maybe I'm just like my father, maybe I'm just like my mama, new niggas want problems, cause I promise I'll solve them, take that shit back to the 80s, kill these niggas like Gacy, fuck these niggas on the daily, I ain't smoking like back in the 80s, good side on the daily, I just hopped out of DeLorean, please take me back to the 80s, candles, I'm stuck in the 80s, back to the 80s, stuck in the 80s, stuck in the 80s, let's go, sick, let's go. I'm stuck in a wave. I'm stuck in a haze. I'm confused and I'm dazed. I'm stuck in this Mercedes. Shorty be fucking crazy. She fuck with me cause I'm creative. Fuck with me cause I'm creative. Her ass stay in the latest. Me, I'm stuck in the 80s. Why? Cause that's what they made me. There ain't no chance she faking. But she's still a fake bitch. All of my exes crazy. All of my exes got baby. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, so that was our fallen allergy homie, Saint Icky with 80s Baby. That's a new song he put out with Coutou. Go stream that. I think it's only on Bandcamp right now. It might end up on DSPs.
Yeah, he's usually good about that.
Look forward to Saint Icky being back with us next week.
Yo, so let's talk rock and roll, man.
Yeah. The common
common
factor of all of us.
What aggressive rock have you been listening to lately?
Aggressive rock. I mean, I'm wearing the Blood Incantation shirt.
Band
I
is
fucking
good.
love that band lately.
Yeah.
Like, I've just been like riding the records lately.
Yeah.
I've been like listening to like a lot of like death and like doom metal. Just like put on an album because like normally when I listen to hardcore, I grew up on hardcore. For those
of
who don't
course.
know. Like straight edge, all that shit. But like now when I listen to music, I listen to full records now. I don't listen to just like the song on Spotify anymore. Like I'm like trying to like fucking get through the whole thing and like. Metal's got long records. It's not the 20 minute hardcore record.
I know.
Like, I like spinning records, too. So, like, when you put on the 7-inch for the hardcore, you got to change it every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, come on.
Yeah, it is kind of an inconvenience. And I just now started buying records, so I'm like...
It's almost cooler to have the record than it is to spin it.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to have it.
Yeah.
It's like having a sick tea collection.
I just bought Power Trip's Nightmare Logic.
Same.
I went to Reckless and copped it, and I'm like, am I gonna open this though? Like,
That's the picture disc, right?
oh
no, you got the Nightmare
I got
Logic to LP.
yeah, with like like the sticker on it and shit, and it's like I think it's on like some like canary yellow shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Nothing crazy. But
I mean, that's what's dope about vinyl is it's bigger, so the art is like art, and then the actual record you can get marble. There's all the cool. It's way more nuanced shit you can do with a vinyl record than you could do with, it's playing it off Spotify or like even a CD back in the day. Because you can collect vinyl and it's cool to flip through and see all the art. Nobody wants to fucking pull CDs out of a thing and like look at the fucking little cover. Like, oh, cool.
I mean, everybody had those the CD booklets too. You
Oh,
take them right out of the jewel case.
Did you put the thing
Case
behind
Logic.
the CD?
Yep,
I did not do that.
I did.
It used to piss me off.
I used to put them in front for a minute. That was
In
ugly.
front? You're ugly.
But I wanted people to see what album it was. It was like a whole thing. I was proud of it. You know what I mean?
Did you have different books for different genres? I had genre books.
Yeah.
I had the rap book and then the rock book.
See, that's smart. I have no organization skills at all, so I just threw it back into the fucking thing when I was done with it.
So you have like DMX next to obituary.
Yeah. You really put to a choice on that page, like, whew, is X going to give it to him?
Or am I going to be chopped in half?
Depends on how you feel then.
MF Doom, Sujan Stevens.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Illinois,
Yeah, man. I feel you, dude. Those metal records are long as fuck.
I kind of like when they're really long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I turn my brain off, though. Like, I'm not, like,
true.
paying attention. I'm not, like, I don't play music. I'm not a music person
Yeah.
like that, so, like, I don't pay attention to, like, riffs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just if it's heavy or not.
I have a lot of friends who are, like, into music, and
Yeah.
they're like, yo, the riffs on that record are sick. I'm like, cool, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, it's fucking heavy.
Yo, turn it up.
Yeah, but the riff on song 3, like, yeah.
Right?
I don't know how we played that. I'm like, I don't know either, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they play any of this shit.
Staccato is crazy. Nah, that shit's fast.
I can't believe the D beat is electronic drums, man. Like, it's not original.
You're just like, yeah, man. It's crazy.
But yeah, those like definitely those old hardcore records are great. You know what I mean? But I am a little bored with hardcore right now. You know what I mean?
I was talking about when we had food. I was like, you got to retire from hardcore at a certain age.
No, you can't ever. You can never do it.
I feel like people do though. They like they're into the vibe, the scene. Like their friends are still into hardcore, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of new hardcore bands lately. Like not to shame current hardcore, but it's mostly just old shit that I like grew up on.
It's mostly old shit. I do like run into like newer shit that's cool. You know what I mean? But nothing I get like really like invested in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also not 16 anymore.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I'm a
like,
hard 34, so
I don't have that hero complex when I see the dude holding the microphone anymore. Like, shout out to Fireworks from Michigan, but the homie that sang there, he comes into my bar all the time. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Everybody's from Michigan, bro.
Yeah, true.
Straight up.
Y'all really hold it down.
Yeah. Now we're here.
We're all holding it down together. Obviously, me.
If you really think about Michigan, though, you got Motown, you got Dilla, you got Cold as Life. Michigan just encompasses everything.
Yeah,
and they're like they don't do it in like they don't produce hella, but the shit they do produce is good. It's like super good shit.
I mean, early punk too. You got like MC5.
Iggy Pop's from Ann Arbor and shit. Yeah,
y'all got Negative Approach for sure.
Oh
you
yeah,
know what I mean,
bumped into that guy a bunch of times growing up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I love telling this story. It's like one of my cool guy stories.
Yeah.
I like bumped into him at a bar.
John Brannon.
John Brannon.
Yeah.
He like got up from his seat at the bar and he like stepped into me and like being the Midwest kid I am, I'm like, yo, my bad, sorry. He's like, no, brother, I'm sorry. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I knew who he was.
That's the win. Shout out to John Brannon.
I was like, I don't even gotta tell him that I like his band. That was cool enough for me. I was like 21.
Dude, every time I like have had an opportunity to see them, something happens and I have to leave.
They're playing a lot more now.
I know, dude. They're killing it.
Kind of to piggyback off that, do you guys feel like after coming out of the pandemic, touring is fucking crazy right now?
Yeah.
There's shows every day. You could kind of go to a show every day.
You blink and you miss it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like following shit, and I just caught myself being like, this band's playing this day, this band's playing this day, this band's playing this day. And it never used to be that consistent. Where now really every week you could see 2 shows that you actually want to go see.
Right.
Like Gate Creeper and Narrowhead are touring together.
Yeah,
which
can't
is
wait.
fucking sick.
That's
but
so
what?
cool.
Yeah.
Gate Creeper's been in Chicago like 17 times in the last 3 months.
Yeah,
dude.
I feel like Turnstile has been on tour for like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been a pandemic for
But
them.
Turnstile,
that's awesome.
I'm happy for them because they're really capitalizing off what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're already big. They're about to be huge. They're about to be. They had last time I checked, they had 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I can see them transitioning to a band that's huge.
Well, that's like when you see like hardcore like grow, and it's not just the same like breakdown riff. Like like
exactly.
they got like funk. They got a fucking Blood Orange track.
Yeah.
Like let's go.
That
so
Dev Hines
awesome.
dude is very talented.
Yeah.
I think what it is watching, hardcore grow, but those dudes are growing up. So what do you don't expect them to make the same record they made when they were fucking 20 years
100%.
old, you know?
I mean, I see a lot of people like mad that things aren't the same way.
Yeah,
and,
it's like you
that-
can't be Madball worship forever, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you could have to grow into an adult. Like, it's okay.
That's why I said retire from hardcore.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
They all like find like a new interest, a new niche.
Yeah.
Like not like in a bad way. I mean, hardcore will still be there for you.
Yeah.
Let me be corny for a second.
Yeah, it's always the
Nail to the X.
cheers.
What I do think, because we obviously talk about rap a lot on this podcast, what I think is different between rap and hardcore is that if you're a younger kid getting into teenager right now, getting into hardcore, I think you are going to do your homework. Where like younger kids that like rap don't give a fuck about old rap.
Yeah.
Like even like Tupac and Biggie, they're like, no, I don't know about that shit, whatever. But I think hardcore has this thing about it where if you get into it, you want to know all the backlog.
Yeah.
You want to know all the old shit.
Yeah.
Versus instead of just being like, I only know new shit.
And the older dudes will like help you with that shit. I feel like it's not as gatekeepy as it was when we were growing up. You know what I mean? Like the older kids like want you to be like into the older shit. We'll put you on.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
don't listen to that band.
Yeah,
Check these records out. Yeah.
Rather than like, oh yeah, you're like this, that, and the third because you listen to this, that, and the third. I don't want to like name any names, but you know what I mean? Like,
I think like underground music is really cool because it makes people like dive into like a genre, whatever they like, whether it's hip hop, hardcore, pop music, whatever you want, and death metal. Like when you like dive into a niche and you like find like, I found super cool bands on Bandcamp just stumbling around being stoned on the website one day and like, yo, that's fucking awesome when you like find through the niche of the underground. And like hardcore and rap, I feel like have a big crossover in that because like there's a lot of like independent people doing mixtapes and stuff like that. And you gotta like dig deep to like keep your ear to the ground and stuff.
no, for sure.
Both those genres share that where there's underground people that make a living doing it, where they're big enough in their following that they're okay, but they're not known to everybody, which I think is dope. I think the coolest thing is if you can get by and you reach people, because that's a way to know you have genuine fans. When you're not huge, but people really fuck with you. They show up in every city, you know your markets.
Yeah.
And you can, sell out your venues in those cities. That's dope because that means you really blew off word of mouth.
Yep.
And everyone tells you got to blow from the internet, you got to blow from this and this. But there's still a strong enough community aspect where you can blow from just certain people fucking with your shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to put the right people on that will really show love. Go to the shows, buy merch, do all those
bring your
things.
friends, and they're a fan now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'd rather fuck with that, like, in art and in music, like people that just like really fuck with you than having like a bunch of like fair weather, like, you know.
Well, because those people are going to leave as soon as you're not hot.
Yeah,
As soon as you're
exactly.
just not cool anymore, they'll be like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
You can have a whole career off the people that really fuck with your art, whether it's music, painting, any kind of medium.
True.
If you have like genuine fans, you can build a whole career off that. If you're just hot for a second, it should be whatever, you know?
For sure.
Like, think about it. We're just talking about Turnstile. They're going to get huge, but as soon as they like make one misstep, they're going to lose half of their fans. Because like, oh, I don't like them anymore.
Yeah, if they were to like make a real hardcore record.
Oh,
It's a wrap.
yeah. Like
it'd go from 2 to 1 super quick. They'd be like, yeah, we're going to pass. So, I don't know where this album even came from. Maybe you should.
Yeah, you don't know the history.
This sounds nothing like that.
Like anything they've ever done.
Are you sure this is the same band?
They're rewatching Jimmy Kimmel. Like, what the fuck?
What happened? What did it all?
They did not play this
What
song.
did it all go wrong?
They got to talk to somebody. This is not going
true.
right.
Shout out the PR team on Jimmy Kimmel though for getting the band.
Dude, they've
on.
got crazy. They had Griselda on there. They get all like this shit you wouldn't think would be on TV.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
They pulled the Griselda
gonna
episode.
watch- I'm not
Like,
gonna
you can't
watch.
even find it because they were talking about selling coke, like straight the fuck. Like they did Dr. Birds, like right brick on my brick. This is on national TV. Like they aired. Then you could rewatch it for like a week. Then they pulled. It.
Yeah, it wasn't Westside wearing that kid super jacket, that crazy one? Is that
Yeah, I
what
mean,
that was?
he was obviously doing his West Side Gun shit,
Yeah.
but
I remember that one,
yeah.
briefly.
What?
I remember that one briefly. I saw like a clip of it.
Yeah, it was only on the internet for like 2 weeks, but whatever. To kind of get into some different shit, what is your like your opinion on bartending in Chicago?
I have a unique perspective on it, the place I work at. So like I try to take everything with a grain of salt for the most part, but like I work at a 4 a.m. where like people get pretty fucking rowdy. They show up after going to a bar all day, and then I got to deal with them. So like I have like a little bit of a chip on my shoulder from that, but I love it at the same time because I love just moving. I like talking to people when I can, but at the same time, if I'm just working, like just bust out 8 hours and not have to think about it. Well, I worked at in Michigan. It was like pretty similar in the terms of high volume. So like that's like my like alley. That's my lane. But at the same time, Chicago is just its own different beast. Like, and I kind of like it for like excitement. Like, it's wild in its own way.
You know what's wild about it is that like on the weekends versus the weekdays, it's such a different scene.
Yeah.
Where it's like so vastly different. You wouldn't recognize a 4 a.m. bar on a Tuesday if you only went out on the weekends. You'd be like, whoa, this is crazy.
People come in and they're like, yo, I was here on Friday last week. Why is it so dead? I'm like, yo, it's Tuesday.
It is, yeah. We just saw Beach House in Milwaukee last week, and we were hanging out with a bunch of people, and the bar was closing. They're like, yeah, you know, we don't have 4 a.m. bars here, like our bad. And I was thinking, like, realistically, I haven't been to a 4 a.m. bar in so long. Because at 2, we just go to someone's house usually and kick it.
Yeah.
So
That's how I'd rather be. Like,
Exactly.
I work at the 4 a.m., but I'm not going to 4 a.m.s all the time, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm usually at work.
we all popped in there recently after 2, and it was a fucking nightmare, dude. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know
you guys
how
through that
he's-
line. I was like, yo, come in.
And then once I was in, I was like, I don't even want to be in here. Like,
I left my
why did we
card
go through
there.
all this trouble?
Oh, you ever get that?
Yeah, I got it. I
I forgot about that. Actually.
Thank you.
I was talking about with my, I work with one of my dudes I work with is from Michigan too, and shout out Ryan.
Yeah, shout out Ryan.
And he and I were talking about 4Ms might be happening in Michigan, and I'm like, yo, do 4Ms really even need to exist? Like,
I think Michigan has such a DIY culture, no one would even go.
oh,
Because
yeah.
they're already at their own spots. Every Detroit people have their own crew. They got their own spots. I don't think they would even be busy, honestly.
A lot of suburbanites would get DUIs. That's what would happen.
Oh, driving back to Royal Oak and
yeah.
shit. Yeah, just get popped.
Get the highway.
Yeah.
The state troopers are on you. But like, yeah, like that doesn't need to happen. There's after hours. If you really need to go to after hours, there's there. But like, go to your house.
Are there like like key clubs and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're really okay.
Yeah, there's tons of just people. I don't know about now because everything's getting expensive, but it used to be accessible enough where you could really have a space.
Yeah.
You know, you and your friends could get a space somewhere and have band practice, show, art shows, do whatever you want. I don't know about now because I think the price of everything there is going up. But
It's a lot in Hamtramck now.
yeah, which I would never thought Hamtramck would be popping.
Dude,
Because
like,
it used to be dicey.
Either my friends live in Ferndale or they live in Hamtramck.
I would definitely rather live in Hamtramck
So
than Ferndale.
it was between moving to Chicago or moving to Hamtramck and buying a car, and I moved to Chicago instead.
For sure.
But
Isn't that where the Outer Limits Lounge is?
Yeah.
That place is tight.
yeah,
They do fucking every Friday now. They show like old skate videos, and it's called I Used to Skate Night, and it's like old shit like Manic Mada and shit. I would definitely go to that.
that's fucking tight.
That'd be super
That
sick.
sounds awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Detroit has gems, dude. You just
Yeah.
gotta know know what it is. If you just showed up in Detroit and didn't know shit, maybe you wouldn't have the best time. But if you had anyone to tell you, oh, you should go here, here, here,
Yeah.
it's fucking rad, dude.
It's kind of cool when it's like the underground stuff. You don't have as many people showing up. And being
Exactly. And the people that are there, you kind of vibrate on the same level as those people.
I mean, Detroit's turned into that like Portland aesthetic of like being weird and like go to Michigan just to have like a different experience.
Oh,
And It's
yeah.
like, yo, come on, it's still the fucking Midwest, man.
Kind of like we have Milwaukee.
Yeah. Milwaukee's getting that way, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. People talk to me about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Milwaukee. Get $2 beers all the time.
All right.
You better get a car, man.
Yeah. Wait till that gets old.
That shit was crazy spread out.
I feel
dude.
like our winters are bad. I feel like theirs are worse.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked in a venue serving beers and shit?
Nah.
I feel like that'd be like it'd be tight because you get to hear music and get money.
I guess kind of the bar I work at right now used to have shows before the pandemic.
I think they're about to run it back.
Yeah.
You would know more than me.
I
but-
mean, we're definitely trying to, but like beforehand, like the shows that would happen there aren't really like shows. Like I'm still showing up. I'm just walking by in the bar and there's the band playing in the background. Like where I feel like if I walked into St. Andrews and became a bartender there, not the same thing.
No.
you would hear so much. St. Andrews was like the Michigan spot. You would have heard amazing shit.
Yeah.
And like I would just just off the top of my head, I used to see crazy shit there for so cheap. Like I saw the Decemberists at the Shelter for $6. So long ago, dude. And it's just crazy to see where they go from there. You know what I mean? Pretty Girls Make Graves, $6.
That's tight.
At the fucking Shelter. You know, all that shit. And just to see how they like grow and go to play bigger venues. It's weird that even though Detroit went through so much shit, it was always a stop on the tour, which is dope. If your city's a stop on the tour, they're doing something.
Yeah.
Like to draw musicians to go there.
I would always wonder why people would play Grand Rapids over Detroit. I'm like, you're going that deep into the state?
I think it.
How far is Grand Rapids?
But then you could
It's
you
like
could easily
3
dip.
from Detroit.
You could do Chicago, Grand Rapids, and come right back in.
It makes sense, but like you got to go so far up that coming back down always seems so funny to me. I'm like, you got to go up to go down. Like you're gonna go to Ohio or Indiana next. It's like it's weird to me.
Yeah, for sure. Grand Rapids is my second favorite city in Michigan. man.
It's a great city. I'm not trying to like insult it.
Yeah,
at
the
all.
pyramid scheme there is dope. The Meanwhile is super cool. That's all I really know, but I like those facts. You got 2 stables. You can go wherever. You got 2 places to go.
Yeah.
Bounce back and forth.
Yeah, that's all that really matters. Is all you need.
I mean, we live in the city, and I go 3 places for real.
Yeah, you're
Straight
comfortable.
up.
You find your comfort zones.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like regret for that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not like taking advantage of like being in this like great city. I'm just like going to like the same few bars, but I'm comfortable. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, comfort is good.
Yeah.
Well, while we got you here too, before we get out of here, what are your future plans and goals? What should we look out for?
I'm gonna continue making prints, so keep posting on Instagram for that. Like I'm trying to get bigger prints done, so like more like wall to wall stuff. Like kind of get a little wild with it.
Sick.
But I'm starting a project with my friend called No Eye. We're making some T-shirts and releasing that and collections. And I'm not really like making that like an every week thing, but we're gonna have a collection every once in a while and make it cool.
What's going to be the basis of that? Original art? Or
We're both big movie fans, so we use like movie references and like stills from movies and like to take it and distort it in our own ways and like add our own flair to it. So it's not like a movie bootleg tee, but it's got its original points and stuff like that. And so like it's like a stylized collection of movie stuff.
That's great. That's so much better.
yeah, so it's not going to be like a rip from an old movie poster. It'll be a reference.
Yeah.
Like, and it might even be pretty fucking deep cut. Like you might not notice.
Like
it.
if you know, type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
a design from the thing, so you got to pull from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's gonna start growing soon. I'm really excited about that, and gonna start working on posters for the bar, getting show posters
Tight.
happening all the time.
Good.
I'm trying to get more into digital art, so hit me up if you need anything. Definitely trying to do that. But yeah, this summer's gonna be exciting. pumped.
Yeah, I feel like too with the tour season, if you really just tap into your homies that are on tour and shit, you can do a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do that, that's just gonna be the word of mouth shit.
Yeah.
Which I mean, growing up listening to hardcore and stuff, you know that's exactly how you grow.
Yeah.
Just putting your shit out there and somebody's like, who did that? And once you get that asked enough times, your shit is just popping.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's looking out for your stuff. So that's dope, man. Do you always want to do you like keeping it music focused?
That's where I live. Like, just art and music is like where my like bread and butter is. Like, I've just always fucking grown up on that. So that is what I like. Movies a lot too. So like the culture, the pop culture of that is always like big in my life too. I just like repeated imagery. So like whether that means like music, like bands you've seen 100 times, sports, movies, whatever you want. Like, just make it interesting. Stuff you've seen before but you haven't seen yet.
Do you ever trip out on the fact that I feel like some of us have such, even though it's tunnel vision, where I've liked the same 4 things since I was fucking 12.
Same.
And it's just super tunnel vision where I'm not really focused on anything else. But so it kind of makes you, in the pure form of the word, ignorant. But it's like blissful because you're like, I'm only paying attention to what I want to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, when you stumble across something that's not in your like wheelhouse and you like, yo, I really like this, where have I been the whole time? You've got a whole backlog of stuff to catch up on. So like I've kind of like that where you're blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, I love that part of it. Just like catching up on shit. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like
the best
taking
thing.
it all in at the same time.
Yeah, like when you find an artist you like and you look on their discography and they have like 10 albums, you're like, all right, bet.
Yeah, let's
Versus,
go.
like, I'll be finding shit now because music is so saturated and comes out so quickly. I'll find an EP I really like and then look it up and they only have that EP.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, there's 4 songs
Yeah.
in existence.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
I love y'all. Man, I want more. You know what I mean?
so. But I mean, you also can't fault those people because what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's also great if your first EP is really good. That's a good sign.
If a project is so limited by one scope of whether it's a 7-inch, one piece of one painting, one t-shirt or something like that, if it's a project, it's a project. Like people just look at that and they see how it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to give people time to grow it. And like I said, if your introductory project is good, it's a super good sign.
Yeah, it's only up for you.
Because the funny thing is, if you listen to like shit you like and they do have super backdated stuff, usually the first release was not it.
Yeah.
You're like, this is ugly, you know?
Especially if you hear something later on first and then you go back and you're like, yo, this is what they started off as? You're like, okay, holy shit.
Exactly.
Damn, they came that crazy?
Like we've had conversations about it before. Our first episode of this podcast is actually episode 1. And I've heard a lot of people talk about podcasts where they'll record multiple episodes and just trash them to get in the flow. But our 1 is 1. And that's cool to have up, but I feel like I would never go back and listen to that shit because it'd probably cringe.
I mean, I've listened to podcasts from the beginning before, like just like starting off fresh. You're like, gotta like get the...
You got to get your bearings with you and shit.
Yeah, like you understand the tone of how everybody talks. So like I've done that before, and like granted, it like gets better over time when you get like comfortable and stuff like that. But at the same time, nothing to look back and be mad at.
For sure. I wish it was like a rule where you had to have your 1 had to be number 1. It couldn't be number 11 once you got comfortable. Because I think as much as those would be cringe episodes, probably, it's kind of like it shows the actual growth of something.
Yeah, put it all out there. You know?
It's not like a band would delete their first EP because they got better sounding and somebody mixed the new shit better. They're not gonna be like, oh, delete that last record because this new shit sounds super
they're
good.
trying to play shows and make merch and tour. You know what I mean? So they're putting out what they got.
I think you should represent your whole picture because then it kind of gives people a false information.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your shit should always sound this good. No, like nothing starts off amazing. Hopefully it starts off okay.
Yeah.
So you have a ground base to work off of, but then you improve over time. So it gives people like a false imagery of how it really is. Like all these podcasts sound perfect. It took us 5-6 episodes to get the sound better.
Yeah.
And that just shows people the real way things play out.
But then people don't notice that stuff until it sounds better either. Like they're like, yo, what's wrong with this? And then it's like, oh, it got better.
Yeah.
Now there's no issues in my mind.
Exactly.
They don't understand because they don't do it.
Yeah, for sure. And if something just sounds fine, people are like, it's fine. But then when it sounds better, they notice it wasn't fine before.
Yeah.
It's like that reality of shit. Well, shit, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to come kick it with us.
Yeah, dude, this is fun.
This was super
Very
fun,
awesome.
man.
I felt like we were talking for 5 minutes.
And we're going to show Sean's art and shit. Y'all see it on Instagram, YouTube, and all that.
Yeah,
Video
check the
comes out
post.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, audio on Monday, episode 137, Face Value Podcast. We really appreciate everyone for tuning in.